Council under attack. Welcome to another edition of the Newark Citizens Forum. In addition to two scathing articles that was written in Joan Whitlow's column and by Tom Moran, last night Mayor Booker went after the council on its budget. With me, like always, my two co-hosts, Anton Willer and Dr. Chris Purnell. So, I want to get right to this issue because I think this is an exciting issue and we can spend some time on this this budget of the day. Last night, Mayor Booker, at his State of the City address, lambasted the council, or chastised the council, about sharing in the pain in their budget. Mm-hmm. He continues to brag about the cuts that he made to his staff. Mm-hmm. He singled out 3 council people, Amador, Aníbal Ramos, and Carlos Gonzalez, as people that are willing to cut. But I wanted us to take a little closer look at these folks and why they're willing to cut. Cory Booker, in addition to collecting his mayoral salary, also does speaking, get paid as a public speaker. Right. And he's actually getting paid the public speaker because he's mayor of the city of Newark. Right. And my understanding is that he gets paid anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000 a speech every time he speaks. Mm-hmm. And so he can more than afford cutting his salary by 10%. Mm-hmm. Gonzalez has a private law firm.
He also does business with the county. I think some type of work with the county. I'm not sure.
And his wife's deputy mayor, right, for the city of Newark. So once again, he's not struggling. Aníbal Ramos works for the county, makes over $100,000. Once again, not a problem. Mm-hmm. And Amador, in addition to his pension that he's collecting and his council salary, he also has many business ventures that he is in because he's the council. I just sense a little hypocrisy in some of this. Folks like Ron Rice, the council is their only job. Mm-hmm. Mildred Crump, this is all Mildred Crump has. Mm-hmm. Darren Sharif, my understanding, this is his only job. Mm-hmm. Raz Baraka uses part of his salary
to
pay an additional staff. So, although he's getting paid for the council's salary and being principal, part of the council salary goes to pay an additional staff member to work, that he gives an opportunity to work, for a government. Right. So, I just find some hypocrisy in what Cory Booker's saying is, and to me, that the symbolism is just, I think it's a sham what he did yesterday.
I think if you don't mind me starting, I think more importantly what it was one of the greatest spin techniques any inept politician can make. And I don't mean to insult him when I say that. What I mean is, clearly he has a problem with governing. Right. Clearly, it's evident to everyone, even his strongest supporters. But what he did was say, well, I tried something. What are you going to try? I made, quote unquote, the tough decisions, because that's what this is about him saying. That's the political rhetoric. Mm-hmm. That's the media hype. What he's saying is, I made the tough decisions. Now, what about you? I think it is up to the council, one, to begin providing alternative solutions.
Anton, have they not? He's just not listening.
Tell me what.
I mean, listen. When we sat down with the sanitation department doing layoff, there was an idea that was put forth. It came through the union about switching the sanitation department from just being funded by the government, but actually created to be a revenue generating department, which it can. And Ron put.
He put forth some
right. So, well, not just the selling. Actually, Ron and Darren put forth some other ideas on how it is that they can generate income. The problem that I'm finding with the problem I have with Booker's speech is, and what he did with the council is, if you notice what they put in Star Ledger, they highlighted the fact that Booker strikes back or Booker,
right.
you know what I'm saying? He's now chastising his counsel, right? But what they didn't say in the Star Ledger is that Booker's speech said anything new or anything that is different than, you know what I'm saying, that he would present for the city. Because when you do a State of the City speech, what you're supposed to have in your State of the City speech is not just highlighting things that you say you achieve, but you're supposed to have programs what you say you're moving forward. And in yesterday's speech, it was absent any of those things.
Right.
Booker didn't, that speech didn't have any new programs. He actually was congratulating himself.
Expanding his ex-offender program.
Right.
Well, expand. I mean, but what does that mean? I'm not understanding that. Expanded it how? Right. You know. So to me, it's that he drew attention away from the lack of plan that he had to focus on the council because he knew that would be the story.
Well, I think that the mere fact that there's a void and an absence of leadership, and he has the bully pulpit, he can command that space.
Right.
I don't agree with it.
But he can do it.
But he can do it. And you know what? And you can go wherever you want with this discussion and how you want, because with no disrespect to you or any of the council members that are elected up there, I may disagree with a lot of them on a lot of issues. But brother, I just asked you what policy was put forth. Just hear me out. The same way they had a press conference to say, you know, to refute what Dave Giamboso wrote, they can have press conferences to talk about the policy and bring it to the community and say what they're going to put forth.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
That's my only point with that.
Let me just piggyback on that, because I believe what's happening here is that the council is missing an opportunity to distinguish themselves.
That's right.
And what else did you expect Mayor Booker to do?
Right.
And so whether or not you thought it was a false war, it was a good political move. Right? Because it puts the ball back in his court, and it allows him to say, I am displaying some type of leadership. I'm going after those who are not in a moment of austerity sharing the burden, right? This is an opportune time for the council to come back and say, well, either I can be petty, or I can do tit for tat, or I can one up. And I can one up by going to the public directly and creating some passion and some steam around ideas about creating revenue. That's what's missing. So they're almost allowing themselves to be lame ducks. Look, it's relevant to the person on the street how much the council makes and how many salaries that they have if that person is struggling. That's why the mayor is able to play off of that. It's relevant that the mayor also makes a lot of money off of speaking engagements. But he's using what's to his advantage to speak. So you don't expect him to speak on the behalf of the council. You expect him to speak on the behalf of his interests. Now it's time for the council to stand up and to say either, well, we're able to look at, you know, where we are not, let's say, sharing this financial burden, but in addition to that, how are we not creating revenue? And this is how we can do it, X, Y, and Z. I think they should hammer that in until
I think
it's
this is the opportunity
over
to do it.
and over and over and over.
I believe that.
We can't just let it go back a tit for tat. It has to be something.
But to me, I don't. You know, I kind of disagree, Doc, on it's a smart political move because one. You know, I mean, I don't know no mayor would have done that. I don't know no mayor that would have done it.
Come on, yes.
People do it.
I don't know. I don't know what mayor.
Presidents do it to Congress.
I don't.
To the opposite party.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I mean, it's done.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
It's done.
Wait a minute. This mayor needs 5 votes to get anything, any legislation into place. It's a difference between you going. It's a difference between you attacking Congress about a specific issue that you're trying to pass on as far as policy for a country, and actually personally going after, you know what I'm saying, a city council about, you know what I'm saying, their staff and. You know what I'm saying? The budget within their office.
Definitely, and I don't think people who looked at it like that read it that way. I think the reality to it was he said, hey, the political play was to say, I'm willing to make the tough decisions.
Yeah, but it's easy. But is it tough decisions for him?
It doesn't matter.
It does not have to.
Remember, he's speaking to someone beyond Newark. He's forgotten about
Newark a long time listen, y'all, I understand. But hold on, wait a minute. For our purposes here, we're talking about Newark. You know what I'm saying?
But so I
do understand
his diction isn't about just
right, but I understand the circus that he puts on.
All right,
I get that point.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get deep into what, you know what I'm saying, what we about the budget, because I have heard ideas from this council. I've had seen this council trying to meet with this administration to talk about going after the poor, maximize the budget of the poor. The problem with it is that this administration but this administration doesn't listen.
Well, then take it to the public.
Right.
Take it to the public.
But
we don't
the
do
same way
that.
you went and asked for our votes, come knock on our doors and tell us what's going on.
I'm serious. Take it to the public.
Listen, folks, I don't disagree. We cannot absolve the mayor from his responsibility.
No one's absolved.
for
Can't
putting
absolve the
together
council
everything.
either.
Right, and I don't absolve the council. However, the mayor puts forth a budget. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to you, nothing in this budget that he has put forth other than him putting the MUA, which is old Hack's idea, that he knows is dead on the right.
Right.
He understands that, you know what I'm saying, the way, at least the way he's presenting it, because, listen, I've supported the MUA in the way that I, you know what I'm saying, thought that it should be utilized. I don't agree with him using the MUA just for a budget, as a budget plug-in mechanism to, you know what I'm saying, plug the budget for a couple of years. I think there should be community investment from the MUA. So I don't disagree with the concept of having the MUA. The problem that I have is what this man's doing is it's either my way or it's no way. And if you don't do it my way, then I'm gonna get before the media and create these sham shows. You know what I'm saying? To take the burden off of my shoulders and now say it's you, council. And I'm saying to you that this man has a responsibility. That he's supposed to. This is a man who came in here who had all these claims. He had all these wonderful ideas to reform and change government into the city. I agree. And yet and still, we listened to a State of a City speech yesterday for 40 minutes that had nothing new. That, you know what I'm saying, that was going to move the city forward. And we just supposed to turn around and say, okay, so that's the council's problem because, you know what I'm saying, he's getting on the council.
It's constituency.
Their budget.
It's a constituency's problem, too.
This. Neither the mayor or the council are appropriately leveraging public interest and public support in driving ideas. The mayor leverages his media pull, but no one directly engages the public. We canvass for votes. We don't canvass around issues.
Right.
Just point blank. Once the vote is already locked in, there's no more canvassing.
Right.
There's a meeting here or there, but there are no mass
is what movements. I think is supposed to be done, and I'm not coming to action.
Dialogue, and that's where the council could distinguish itself.
But listen to what I'm saying to you. What the mayor did yesterday, he didn't attack the whole council. He excluded 3 people. And this is what I mean about, to me, it wasn't a smart political move. Because if you're saying that the council should lead, then the council includes all 9 people on that council. You can't sit up on stage and exclude people and then turn around here and say, it's time for you to put your, because guess what, I'm going to disagree with the MUA too.
Could I
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I'm trying to say to you, you can't exclude 3 folks on the body and then say that you putting the ball now into the council. To me, I say what he did was make it personal to a few council people.
Can I say something?
And I'm saying that that's not.
I think in my mind, and this might be as science fiction as it gets, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
This is just my interpretation.
Yeah.
I believe that what he did was throw a blanket out there and say, "Hey, you keep messing around, I'll stay around for a 3rd term," because all of you are not serious. What he did though was play to his base, which his general support is the East Ward, the North Ward, and Carlos Gonzalez votes yes if he says it's purple outside. So now, when we're dealing with that aspect of it, in my mind, like I said, it could be clearly science fiction. What he did was political theater, because now he put the ball back into the mainstream's court and said, now what are they going to do? Because I know you hurting, because I hurt you. I cut the 1,000 jobs because I said I had to. But they still have their 5 aides, they have their cars, they have gas bills, they have BlackBerry bills, and all of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So what he said was, I'm playing to my political base, in my opinion. This is just my thought. Who am I? I'm a school teacher. I'm playing to my political base. And to everyone else, I just want you to know, I really want to break even because I really want you to look at them. That's what I think he did last night.
It's anti to me.
To you is to you, but to him and his frame of thought and his references,
I don't
makes sense.
I don't care what
that.
base he played to, because I think ultimately that this mayor is a weak mayor, and I got to be honest with you. If somebody with real name recognition up there, listen, any one of them on that council that they ran against or could beat them, including Amador, who I don't really respect too much. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that this guy could win a 3rd term. So, you know, I mean, he would have to prove that to me, because I just don't believe it. I mean, I don't see this city put in this man has been a failed mayor. And as a matter of fact, he's an absentee mayor right now. So here's a mayor who, the reason why he only got a 40-minute speech, the reason why
he didn't have in New York.
Well, I mean, because he don't plan on being around. I mean, he's not here to come up with ideas. He's not here to put a real plan. Everything he's doing, he just put, I got an office tower come. None of that benefits the city of Newark.
But when did the city not know that?
When did the city not know what?
Because didn't they know that at the end of his first term?
That what?
Didn't the city understand him at the end of his first term?
Well, listen, I'm saying to you that...
And he still got reelected.
Well, listen, he got reelected because look who we had running against him.
Yeah, just let me say this. I want to say several things. One, if the mayor didn't make that move, he would have been seen as weaker than he's already been.
Which move, though, Chris?
The move
attacking the council?
To seem
attacking 6 people?
Let me just say this, to appear contentious. Whether or not, I agree, all of the council should have to bear the brunt of the attack. I agree with that. And I think the council would be savvy, and the council would show that they care about the citizen by saying, let me examine, is there somewhere that I can share this financial burden? Am I pulling in 2 salaries? If I am pulling in 2 salaries, should I forego one or take the private or take the public? Because there are people in Newark who face that situation every day.
I agree.
Okay, so the council has to show that they can bear the financial burden and that they have some type of empathy and understanding of what's going on in the community. You have to do that. We can't be in this financial climate and not do that. But 2, the council doesn't make full use of what it is as a city council. At every opportunity, they should be in their communities. They should be in their neighborhoods, whipping their own bully pulpit, having people to understand what we can do to generate revenue. If you walk down the streets of Newark and you ask an average citizen, what can we do to generate revenue? I'm not sure we have a cohesive idea of what we need to do going forward. Why aren't we having discussions and talks about that? We're not doing that. So we can bring to task the mayor, but likewise, I'm a citizen in Newark. I'm going to bring to task all of you. I'm going to bring to task the whole council, and I'm going to bring to task the mayor, because that's what you are elected to do.
But Doc, this is where I disagree. That to me, most of it falls upon the mayor's shoulders. And to me, because he's never been, unless he control everybody on the council, his administration is not one to work with people. If he don't like you, they don't work with people. If you don't tell the Cory Booker storyline 100%, then if you told it 95%, you're their enemy. You know what I'm saying? This guy wants 100% loyalty, right? Everything he does, everything he says, he wants people to agree with him. And I'm saying to you,
know people like that?
No, I don't know too many people like that. I mean, this guy got to learn to work with folks. And the deal is that, to me, he doesn't work with people. And I'm telling you that I'm telling you, and I'm telling you from experience, I don't know listen, I agree that to me that the council got to be stronger. And if you listen to what I said at the last council meeting, I said I can't absolve any of y'all from, you know what I'm saying, the responsibilities on doing some of these things, because you're allowing this to go on. You know what I'm saying? That you're not out here pushing forth and going out here doing, you know what I'm saying, like you said, getting the public together, trying to get the public behind you. So I don't disagree with that. The problem that I'm having, though, is that this man just doesn't do anything to try to bring any camaraderie between council and him.
Because it's not to his advantage to do that.
But why wouldn't it be?
Because it's to his advantage because it worked long enough to divide and conquer. It has been his game since he came to town. So my thing is, I just want to know, when this guy's out of here, the things that some of this council voted on, how do they come and stand to us and ask us to eat that and re-support them?
Listen, I think this council, holds responsibility. I think the council need to look, and it's not just the council; it's really the city clerk. I think he's going after the city clerk's budget. So let's be clear that it ain't just the, you know what I'm saying. Let's just be clear that
that's where the focus is.
Right, he's looking at the city clerk, but he's saying that the clerk budget in general is
too big.
It's too big, right? But
definitely,
you know what I'm saying.
That's valid.
Right, it is valid. You know what I'm saying. It is a valid point. But, this guy got waste, too, in his administration. He still got a lot of places that he can cut.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There are a bunch of six-figure people that works around this man, to me, that don't really do nothing in the city, don't really offer any sort of, you know what I'm saying, bring any sort of new ideas to the city, other than the fact that they loyal to Booker.
We
you know what I'm saying?
So I think with any administration, anyone on the outside looking in could make that assessment because that's how it is.
But you two actually went inside. You two actually went inside the state of the city. I was protesting. By the way, this is my sign. You know, this is the sign that I had.
Where's T-Bone?
Where's T-Bone when you need him?
Where's T-Bone when you need him? And the reason why I had decided to say, where's T-Bone when you need him? For those that don't know, T-Bone was Booker's imaginary friend on Martin Luther King Boulevard when he was the councilman who threatened him, who threatened his life. And I had that sign because I figured T-Bone can actually do a better job. His imaginary friend can actually do a better job. But, you know, we were out there protesting. I was actually trying to get arrested. So, you know, I wasn't successful. I wasn't as successful as I thought. I tried my best to get arrested.
Interesting.
But, you know what I'm saying, it just didn't happen. But what did y'all two get out the state? I mean, what came? I mean, I listened to it on his Facebook page. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything. I mean, you two sat in a 40-hour speech. What did you get out of it?
Ladies first.
Okay. What was most glaring to me was the first thing that we mentioned, that Mayor Booker is showing his backbone. And what I mean by that, he was coming off as what he would probably define as being a little bit gruff, right, for him. Second, what I got out of it is, once again, is a parading of the victories that he's been able to garner around, let's say, economic development in downtown Newark and bringing businesses. That's valid. That's true. That's something that Newark needs. I didn't hear a lot of original ideas or thoughts.
Right.
I heard maybe some rehashing of what we've already talked about.
Correct.
But where I always want to see is, what opportunity are others missing? You know, what other opportunities are we missing as a citizenry? What opportunities is the council missing? And this is an opportunity to say, we need economic revitalization of downtown. We need these businesses, but likewise, we need our neighborhoods to be revitalized.
Well,
and I think that's where, again, the council could distinguish itself by what we don't hear, right? By what we don't hear, we could then go out and say, what can I do, particularly in my neighborhood, in my wards? We can task people with, let's say, the impetus and the know-how to repair and to really rehabilitate their neighborhoods, because that's still not happening like it should happen in Newark. Newark does look different from my grandfather's Newark, but it doesn't feel different around where people live.
Exactly.
What'd you get?
To tell you the truth, I was sad. I was sad because I watched a man who wasn't from here chump my peers and my friends. And
hey, did you see the comment he made? Said when they walked off the stage, which, by the way, I don't agree with, by the way. But did you see the comment he said?
You don't agree with the comment or the walking
them walking off stage? I don't agree with the walking off stage. But did you see the comment he said? If you can't take the heat.
Right. But let me finish. Let me just be clear. You know, being from Newark, there's this stigma that comes with it. And it doesn't have to be just tough physically, but sharp in what it is you do. You know, that's what being from Newark means to me. And he insulted all of that last night. If this were 1985, he would be from Elizabeth and came to Twin City and took everybody's skates and sneakers. And I say that because we have a talented group of individuals who have sharp minds this city has reared. But I think theories of entitlement and personalities don't allow those minds to flourish. Yeah. And you know what he said to me last night? If you think that I'm dumb, at least I'm smarter at being dumb than you. And that's even more insulting. Because he gets to say, well, I'm trying something. What about you? And that doesn't look good for people who are really being able to be touched more than the mayor. Because like you say, people say he's an absentee mayor. He's never around. He's never here. He's always on the road. But the council is the first line of defense. Mm-hmm. And whether we believe it or not, they serve their purpose in every way for him, even having ran on his ticket, because even when he got in hot water himself, he dumped it on them. And they bought and paid for that by being on his ticket. So what I'm saying is, it bothered me, one, I didn't hear anything new or special. Two, every business venture that I heard him talk about is going to cost the residents of Newark. Why? Because there are abatements and tax credits and things that go with it.
That's what I'm saying. Don't benefit.
There was nothing that I didn't appreciate the fact that him being, you know, a urban mayor, joked about the fact that he was happy that his favorite of all the projects was Manischewitz coming here. That bothered me. Because there are serious issues going on here in this city. People dying. Other things that need to come here to address the issues and concerns that are going on here in Newark. And for this guy to think that he has a ball or meter to bounce somewhere else, I don't think he's addressed the real issues that pertain to our growth and development as an urban market in an urban city. So I don't believe that. I was bothered by his speech last night because he's shown me he hasn't grown.
So I don't. I mean, you know, everybody, you know, I hear all this today. Oh, you know, he did that because he planned. I don't believe this kid running no third term. I'm sorry. I don't.
I mean, they even wrote about that in the Wall Street Journal article.
Yeah, I don't.
Is he really running it for a third term, or is he just able to, because of the position that he's in, not really declare what he's doing? And so he has that luxury of giving the suggestion that he could possibly do a third term versus running for something.
Well, I mean,
I just think
when you're
last night,
I don't think no man's going to say I'll possibly.
Right. I think last night what he did was leave the door open that he may play. He's being coy with the idea. I think if they wouldn't have wrote. Come on, look at the headlines.
Oh, I agree. There's no
way.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no way. And even if he didn't run, his job now is to mar this council, muddy him so bad that no one would want to touch him, because you've got people up there talking about they're going to announce this spring or announce next year that they're running for mayor.
Yes.
They're forming exploratory committees, signing up old war horses to join their campaign teams.
Well, I was actually told that wasn't true today by the so-called candidate, but that he hired the old war horse.
All right, well, that's good to know.
I hope he ain't that stupid.
I mean, God is good to people who use their brains.
I mean, you know, but you know, the other hot topic was the spying on the Muslim community that has happened within the last, was it 2 or 3 years? That the New York, not the feds or somebody.
Come on, man, y'all know when Booker got elected mayor. This was many.
New York came over here and
this was the 6th borough
and actually went and spied on the Muslim community, and Booker said he didn't know anything about it. Do you believe him?
No, I don't.
Like I said, he hasn't grown.
No, I don't. I don't think it's possible for the mayor to not know that this is happening, but the reason that in particular it's not possible because he's a very close relationship with the mayor.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
exactly. Well,
exactly. I told you. They say he's the 6th borough.
Exactly.
And so I don't believe that. Let's say, okay, I'm not a psychic, nor do I
I don't think you have to be with this one.
But someone in his administration knew about this.
He knew.
I told you I thought he knew.
So, Anton, we Muslims. Are you insulted by that? That's fine. I mean, I'm not. I don't have nothing to hide. I wouldn't. You know.
Exactly. What is me saying? I'm insulted going to do though?
No, I know. But
I am. But I mean, like this right here just shows.
I mean, but they're all. I mean, the Muslim community right now is organized, and
that's
they really upset.
And they are. And they should be.
And they should, right? So
my thing is that.
But I'm Muslim. You Muslim,
right?
I was when it came out, I was like, well, maybe 'cause I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a terrorist or anything. I don't have no fear, because I sure enough ain't killing myself. So, I mean, I'm too arrogant for that. So, I mean,
are you really?
Yeah, I'm too arrogant for that. So,
I can tell.
So, I'm not understanding the. I do understand why they upset. I mean, but to me, it's like if you ain't hiding anything, if you don't have nothing to hide.
Rockman, you really have to understand.
But wait, you're questioning their level of
why they're upset?
No, I'm not questioning level.
What you saying? So if you don't have to hide, why you worried about it?
No, I just think that
the fact that they decide to spy on people because of their religious affiliation is a violation of their constitutional rights.
Well, I mean, listen.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen, we're not gonna get into all the other speculative things that we can get into.
Listen, y'all, first of all, let's be realistic. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic. You know, based on what happened on 9/11. I mean, listen, I've been profiled since 9/11. Every time I fly on the plane, do I like it? No. But at the end of the day, I have nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? I don't really take offense. I'm actually used to it. I actually go to the special counter instead of sitting voluntarily down. I mean, I'm so used to it. You know, they used to always tell me they were random searches. I used to tell them if I was that lucky, man, I'd be a millionaire right now. I'm always hitting the random search lottery. But I mean, you know, I understand the anger. I do. I'm not saying that, you know, I get it. I mean, but I don't think this community has nothing. I don't think the Muslim community, I mean, you bring them to task, you know what I'm saying, for doing it. But here's the question, though, Chris. You think they won't do it again? I mean, to me, of course that's what I'm saying. Like,
of course they will.
They're not going to stop, Anton.
I think that when you are allowed to violate the rights you're supposed to defend, there needs to be some discussion. You just can't do that. You know why? Because they don't do it to all communities.
Right. Oh, I agree.
You know, nobody's surveilling the corporate executives of Wall Street.
Right.
So please,
right.
You know. So my thing is, and please, they're more responsible. They're responsible for more wars than anybody.
Right.
Just go check the bank receipts and who got to pay for that stuff.
Right.
So you know, my thing is, you know, I don't like this because even in that type of ism, it's a classism type of thing. Where, you know, and where you can do this invasion thing in the interest of national security. Because in a minute, they'll be spying on African Americans again for national security. They'll be spying on people who are part of this religious organization for national security. And the reality to it is the problem with national security is everybody broke.
Let me tell you something. I actually did, but I actually think it's deeper than that. They probably got people that's actually a part of the Muslim community in Newark. Because, I mean, if you really looked at what they did based on the report, they went to a few places, they jotted down addresses.
They were trying to get down demographics.
Demographics, stuff like that.
But it is reported, it's not discussed in this article in particular, but in other media outlets, it is reported that they were recording in factual things that were not true.
Right.
That they were misclassifying, that they were saying, okay, this person is an Arabic. The purpose behind the surveillance was for them to be able, and this is what they offered, this is what the NYPD said the purpose was. The purpose behind the surveillance was to already know where people hung out, where they lived, so that if something were to happen, we would know who to question. Well, if that's the purpose, you were already doing it improperly. So you've already you've shown that hand. So that's a problem. That's a problem that, you know, the NYPD can come in particular, target one community only because of religious affiliation. Right. That is a problem. And I think all citizens should be able to say, hands down, there's a problem with that. The notion about, well, if you have nothing to hide, I mean, that just gets to the larger question of profiling. When is profiling no longer an issue of security, but an issue of abusing someone's right? You know, you have laws throughout the nation where you can stop and frisk. But there are only certain types of people who are stopped and frisked. And they're like, oh, we didn't find anything on you. You don't have a record, but you should not have to live with being stopped and frisked. It makes you somehow less of a citizen, somehow less of a human being. So it's valid to be angry.
I think, but to me, I think that I got to be honest with you. That's the NYPD. I actually think the feds has probably been investigating the community, and I think they infiltrate that. Don't think that we don't have some phony fed Muslims sitting in these mass jails.
That's what any organization.
You know what I'm saying?
The government is managed to infiltrate all organizations.
If you don't think that you got government, you don't think that there are Muslims that's going to some of these mass jails who claiming to be somebody from a Muslim community that's coming to pray or whatever.
I believe that.
I mean, I think the feds has been doing it.
We've had Muslims that wore wires on elected officials in this town.
Right.
So, I mean, but that is besides the point. With regards to violating someone's right.
The problem, though, I'm like, the outcry, how does it get resolved to me? Because I don't care what Booker and them say about it won't happen again. I know it's going to happen. Right, he can't, To me, it's just, to
especially
me, this is
why
over
he
his
can't
head.
guarantee, because he said he didn't know what was happening in the first place.
Right.
So if you don't know something is happening, you can't guarantee that it won't
happen again.
Right, that's my point.
And
so
the reality to it
is,
this country, after 9/11, and rightfully so, given the beliefs of people, has been into this anti-terror mode. And the minute you raise that flag, everything is okay. A person will give up their civil liberties to feel safe. And that's been shown since 9/11. I don't think it's right. I don't think that it's done in a proper proportion to what we have here. And I think that if they have proper intelligence gathering and they share intelligence amongst their communities properly, these types of things wouldn't be necessary. So, I just think there's always a travesty, because at any given time, anything, any use.
I've always wondered when people read my name, Rahman Muhammad, in the paper, that I'm doing protesting, or what I'm saying, like, because when you ever read comments from people, like when I make an endorsement, or if you ever read comments from people, oh, that terrorist is such and such, blah blah, and I don't know, maybe because I've got numb to, what I'm saying, a lot of the nonsense.
Because when they see you and you look like Al Sure, it don't. I love you.
Nah, I mean, they don't. Listen, Dick. I hope that it. I hope they come to some resolution. I hope the Muslim community get. I don't think they should be trusting this administration to believe.
Now that's a different thing. That's a different issue.
Anger out of proportion. It's not anger out of proportion.
No, they need to be upset.
Right.
And something needs to happen.
I just don't know how you can resolve it.
Well, I think,
and I'm hoping that what we don't have is a couple of Muslim leaders that come out front, make a deal for something else to silence it.
Well, the whole community needs to just be more vigilant.
Right.
And when I say the whole community, literally the whole.
And there needs to be an open dialogue. There needs to be an open dialogue. I think as long as there's an open dialogue with the law enforcement community at any level, I think that this won't be a problem. And I think that you have good people in this country that good Muslim people, men and women, who don't believe in terrorism. They don't believe that that's what Islam is about, because
that's not what Islam is about.
When people say holy war and they say jihad is about the war within oneself.
Yeah.
Being able to subdue those evil passions and thoughts to want to do harm to the other man, to your fellow man, because the true name of God is love, and everybody knows that. So I think that an open dialogue would be a starting point to make the community feel more comfortable. And then there has to be some real honesty from this mayor. Because the doc is right, you're right. Relative with his relationship with the mayor of New York, there's no way. With him hiring one of New York's former precinct commanders.
That's right.
There's no way that he didn't know,
And no one's going to come into your town.
And I think it's actually reported.
I don't even think McCarthy was allowed to do that.
They had escorts.
They had escorts when they were in the city. It wasn't that they were, all sleuth and stealth and coming in and under the cover of night and no one knew what was happening. The report is that they had escorts.
Yes, they had escorts.
Well, listen, I hope they come to some resolve. So we want to thank everybody for once again tuning in to the Newarks Citizen Forum. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Go out.
Yeah.
I always wondered, everybody.